Well, a very good evening and welcome to this edition of Breeding to Win. We've got a very full show once again tonight. Let's take you through tonight's lineup. First, we'll chat to some of the connections with the Ready to Run. There are 3 inserts from various vendors. We'll be taking a look at the drafts on offer. Then we'll be catching up with Rob Champion and Louis Mokwa, one of the up-and-coming jockeys here in the Western Cape, and certainly looks to be a jockey with a bright future. Moving on in the show, we go on to part 3, in which is going to be another John Freeman stallion. And then part 4 on the show, this is going to be a very interesting insert compiled by Andrew Bond. The life of a racehorse after racing is an important part for all of us. Andrew Bond, who is absolutely passionate about retired racehorses, recently found himself in the Western Games in Paris, and he's going to show us a little bit more. But let's start straight away with the CTS Ready to Run that's going to be held out at Durbanville on the 23rd of November.
Ici, la police qui va enlever l'Arc de Triomphe. 5e victoire dans la course pour Frankie Lettori.
Is storming home, one of the last possible gasps for the judge at Thriller.
What a finish to the Melbourne Cup. Brave is under pressure when they turn in. It's been a relentless run cut. Who's going to be the last man standing?
Battling on through, then Wings of Eagles, Cliffs of Moher, Wings of Eagles swooping though, and Wings of Eagles gets up to win.
His 3,000th winner.
Vodacom Durban July.
Gauteng Sansui Summer Cup.
It's a beautiful morning here at Durbanville Racecourse, and we've been lucky enough to see Normandy Studs Ready to Run draft going through their paces, and they certainly look to be a fantastic bunch. And with me is Oscar Folkes to chat about them. Morning, Oscar. Always lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you, Fee.
Fantastic draft working this morning. I thought they moved through their paces really well.
I'm really happy. I mean, we put a lot of effort into the sale every year. It's kind of like the focal point of the year for us. and I think we've got a particularly strong lot of horses this year.
Now you've got 25 colts and 7 fillies, some you're selling as agent, but really does look like a strong draft. You're well represented by Wiley Hawley. We did have a good chat to John Freeman about Wiley Hawley. He's a particularly nice stallion.
Yes, and you know, if you were to ask an Australian what would you expect to pay for good-looking individuals by Grade 1 winning son of Redute's Choice, you know, I'm sure it'd be a lot more than what you pay here.
Absolutely, and you've got some fantastic pedigrees amongst your other horses as well. You're really well represented with top stallions, and of course Kawari is doing particularly well as well.
Well, when the Kawari started running, there was just something that caught our eye, and we first booked 2 services then, and eventually we booked up to 10 services. So we went all in whatever crop would have 2015, which produced these horses, and we've had got some nice yearlings. And then we bought some extras as well. So, yeah, I mean, I just think he is an extraordinary stallion. His first 3 crops, 1 in 10 foals, that's not runners, 1 in 10 foals is a black type winner. His percentage of winners from foals, and again, I make the distinction, winners from foals, not winners from runners, is something like 70%. So he is, I mean, his numbers are extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was really, really impressed with your draft this morning. And of course, you've done really well at this sale in previous years.
Well, in fact, this morning I did a Facebook post out Throwback Thursday of 2015. In one draft, we had Sergeant Hardy, Nordic Breeze, Crowd Pleaser, and Vicious Bounty. And then, you know, last year, Can You Feel It? The year before was Wonderwall and Barrack Street. So there've been top horses come through this draft every single year, and you know, I think from a buyer's perspective it's an absolute no-brainer, because the horses are 2 years old, they've been broken by somebody else, they're ready to just about go nominate, and they qualify for a sales race for 2.5 million rand. There's only 116 lots left on the sale, maybe there'd be some more withdrawals, so your chance of getting into the sales race are very good. And then a few of these horses have gone through other sales, so there's a Clover Flay Farm sale race, there's the CTS Millions, and plus the sale produces quality. So, I mean, why would you buy anywhere else?
Yeah, it's certainly very well proven, and the sale with lots of incentive to buy from. And as I said, your horses look particularly well this morning. They've got beautiful actions, and you don't really want to see more than that. We weren't looking at them to gallop to see who was the winner, but the superb actions on them. Yeah,
and you know, I've been watching these gallops for a few years now, and just because the horse hasn't won the gallop doesn't mean, not that it's a race in the gallop, but even the one that's sort of slightly, you know, lagging a bit, even those go on and win races. I mean, I remember Grapevine, who wasn't that impressive in his gallop here. He won 6 races. So, you know, the horses do evolve, and we don't want to do too much with them because they've got long careers ahead of them. You know, you don't want to squeeze all the water out of that stone.
I couldn't agree more, but this is a great starting point. So they've been here this morning, they've had a nice breeze along, they'll be ready to come to the gallops on the morning of the sale, and of course we're selling in the same day later on in the evening.
Yes, so there should be enough time to watch the gallops, vet whatever needs to be vetted, and then, you know, rush to get that buyer's card and start bidding.
Yeah, it really is a super sale, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there and your horses sell well. Thank you very much for having us this morning, Oscar.
Thank you.
Well, it was wonderful chatting to Oscar Folkes this morning. I must say he's got a really, really smart draft going to the Ready to Run sale, and I'm looking forward to seeing them all there.
very useful jockey, and you can see him in the winner's enclosure nearly each and every week. That's Louis Ngotwa, his agent Rob Champion, and Louis took time to catch up with Fiona out at Durbanville.
Louis Ngotwa is one of our young jockeys riding really well here in Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, and I'm privileged this morning to be catching up with him at Durbanville Racecourse. Louis, it's lovely to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, how did it all start out? I believe your father was a groom and you were born in Johannesburg.
Yes, I was born in Joburg. My father was a groom. He worked for a lot of trainers. Yeah, and that was the moment when I started actually realizing about racing, when he was working for Fred Krabbe at the farm. It was in Walkerville, if I remember properly. And yeah, it all started there. And obviously, as a young kid and as a baby, and you grow up and seeing things interesting, something interesting like that, I got interested into it, and yeah, and I'm in it now. And
you've obviously ridden out your apprentice claim, and you're now a fully fledged jockey, and you're riding really well.
Yes, I finished my apprenticeship with 92 winners. Yes, that was my third year, I think, beginning of my fourth year. And yes, I'm a fully fledged jockey, and I'm doing all right, I would say.
And you had a spell in Port Elizabeth. You were there for quite some while, and you did really well there.
Yes, I started there as Fred Krabbe was my sponsor. They started me with Justin Snape's yard in PE, and I had a very good start. You know, it's a very good yard. If you ride for Snape, you know you always have a chance, and they have decent horses. They got very nice horses, and I was very fortunate. Everything went quick for me, and unfortunately I couldn't move out at that time. But I always knew I was good enough to get out of PE as a fully fledged jockey, and I've done so. And
you couldn't have better support than Rob Champion, your agent. He knows what he's doing. He's been with a lot of top jockeys, and he's doing a good job for you. Yes,
you know, Rob, when I called him, I just asked around with the jockeys and the trainers who was the best agent. And at that time, I wasn't even moving to Cape Town. I was still in PE. And they said, no, Rob Champion. And then, fortunately, I moved here, and here he's well known. He's set up his relationship with trainers. He's well known, and he's done well over the years with the jockeys. And he's doing very well for me. And he's trying to put me on the map here in Cape Town.
And but how many winners have you ridden this season so far?
15.
That's not bad at all. And we're in the early days of the season, and we've got the Cape season coming up, which is exciting as well. So hopefully you'll get some big rides there.
Yes, that's actually one of the things that I want to do this season, just get in those group races. You never know. You never know what you can get in those group races, and anybody can win them.
Absolutely. And you said you're monitoring your weight. What sort of weight can you ride?
53.5.
That's not too bad at all. Well done.
Not too bad.
Anyway, well, thank you very much for chatting to us this morning. We wish you all the best. I'll certainly be following you and hope you make it to the top. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you very much.
Agent Rob Champion is the driving force behind Louis Ngotwa, and Rob is with me today to chat about being a jockey's agent. Rob, you're not shy to this game. You've had some really good jockeys on your books over the years, including, of course, Carl Newsius, who made it as a champion.
Yeah, look, I worked for Carl, I worked for Felix, I worked for Glenn Hatt, so big blast from the past. But now it's a matter of rebuilding, and, you know, you've got to get the younger guys in, and I've slowly but surely built up another team.
Yeah, you've got a nice band
Louis.
Of young jockeys.
Yes,
yeah.
I've got Donovan Dillon, Corne Wolfer, Stewie Randolph, and now young Louis.
Well, Louis is a fabulous young man, and he's doing really, really well. He's travelling from Cape Town to PE, picking up some rides.
Yeah, he's doing very nicely, you know, especially in PE. I mean, after the first month and a half of the season, he was in the top 10 on the national log, which is saying something for a PE jock. He rides mainly there for Sharon Kotzen and Grant Paddock, but he's happy to ride for anyone who offers. And he's done tremendously well. I think he's on 15 winners for the season already, which is very, very good. He just really hasn't had a breakthrough in Cape Town as yet, which we're hoping this will help. You know, along the way, he came for Glenn Kotzen, but they've kind of parted ways, but I'm sure that they'll still talk. But Vaughan Marshall's been very good. Vaughan seems to think he's a nice young man. He's given him a few rides, and a couple coming up in PE as well. Paul Reeves has given him rides. I can't think. Rian van Rienen's given him a couple of rides. So generally, as soon as he gets out there, you know, now that he's based himself in Cape Town, he can go out there and ride a lot of work. And obviously he goes to PE on Fridays, but other than that, we're going to get him out and about, and hopefully a few more of the trainers will recognise his skills, because he's a very talented young man.
Absolutely, a super rider and a lovely young man with it as well. And what do you actually look for when you're looking for rides for him? Obviously you've got his weight to look at, and then those stables that he rides for, you try and get him a few different ones as well?
Yeah, what we do is, particularly in PE, we let Sharon Kotzen have first bite, because she's been very good to him right from the start. He rides at 53.5, 54, so it's not really an issue, the weight. You know, obviously you can't ride the bottom weights. But we look around and we go to the bigger stables. The other stable who's been very good to him in PE is the Snaith stable. They've used him a lot. And I know that they do rate him as a rider. They've always said he's a very good rider. And when he came along to me, I didn't hesitate in saying, yes, I'll give him a hand, you know, because I think he deserves a break, and hopefully things will go from strength to strength in Cape Town.
Yeah, well, interestingly, he rode his first winner for Justin Snaith, which was great. And he's got big ambitions, Louis, so I hope you're up to it, because you'd like to be riding in some features throughout the season.
He certainly will. We're really going to be trying and put his name out there, and as long as he gets out there and rides the work, you know, that's the key to all these jocks. If they don't ride the work, they don't get the rides.
And your job as an agent, obviously you've got to get the rides, but do you communicate a lot with your jockeys and test the water with them?
All the time. Speak to them every day. All of them. There's not one that a day goes by that I don't speak to them. So
for you, it's almost like you have to go and ride work, because you must hear about what horses they've ridden, which ones they want to ride.
Correct. Well, that's when the problem comes, when the jockey's got a different idea to the agent. And then the trainers have a different idea to both. So that's when the complications come, but generally it runs smoothly.
Well, you've certainly got some youngsters with lots of ambition, really, really good riders, but they really do need you behind them, because while they're riding, you need to be looking at the paperwork. They've got to be travelling, they've got to be riding work, so they really need you. You're a big part of it.
I think it's very important that any jockey gets himself an agent, honestly, from the lowest of the ranks to the highest, because they haven't got the time, really. And half of them don't read form very well.
Well, you've certainly got 3 jocks on your books with really, really bright futures, and I'm looking forward to following them the rest of this season and next year as well, because I really do think they're going places. And well done to you. Keep up the good work, and thanks for chatting to us, Rob.
Thanks so much, Fee.
It was great to catch up with Rob and Louis this morning, and I'm really looking forward to following these top jocks in the future, because they really are youngsters with lots of ambition, and I know they're going to be going places.
As per usual, we've got a Freeman Stallion insert to bring to you as well. John Freeman Stallions always there or thereabouts. Big Group 1 season coming up. You'll be seeing those stallions flying high during the Cape summer season, and also soon at the Summer Cup just round the corner. Let's find out more from John Freeman.
Wiley Hall is the only multiple Grade 1 winning son of Australia's undisputed king of sires, Reduced Choice, at stud in South Africa. He achieved a merit rating of 119. A versatile performer who beat Turfentine 1400-metre course specialist White Line Fever at Grade 2 level, and also won the Turfentine stallion-making Grade 1 South African Derby. First passed the post in 3 Grade 1 races and earned a check in 6 Grade 1 races. He is a half-brother to champion sprinter, Absolute Champion, who beat Silent Witness, breaking his own track record in the highest-rated sprint performance in the world in 2006. He is also a 3-parts brother to Grade 1 Oaks winner, Anna Marto. Wiley Hall's striking hands and heels defeat of a high-class field in the Grade 1 South African Derby is especially significant because his race record combines speed and classic class.
Wiley Hall, that comes together with Gothic as they pass the 200. Warhorse, here comes Talina, who's finishing strongly on the stand side. Wiley Hall is there. Gothic, Talina's on the outside, but it's Wiley Hall now coming to the lead into the closing stages from Gothic, and Wiley Hall has won the SA Derby.
First past the post in the 2014 Vodacom Durban July, Wiley Hall was denied victory in the boardroom.
Wiley Hall, Legislate now alongside. Wiley Hall, Legislate. Futurist flying on the inside. Here it comes. Wiley Hall perhaps ahead. Wiley Hall.
He warmed up for the Grade 1 Champions Challenge with a fluent win in the Grade 2 Colorado King Stakes.
Wiley Hall goes for home and he looks good for victory. Wiley Hall wins the Colorado King Stakes.
and then he won the Grade 1 Premier's Champions Challenge in fine style.
But it's Wiley Hall on the stand side, half the deficit, no worries. Majmu tries hard in the closing stages. Wiley Hall, Majmu tries hard, but she's not going to get there. Wiley Hall beats Majmu.
Wiley Hall's triple champion sire, Redout's Choice, is the undisputed king of Australian sires. Wiley Hall earned a cheque in 10 stakes races, including 6 Grade 1 races.
Well, MJ Odendaal and Andrew Bond, they're very involved in the Western Games and certainly a great initiative for all concerned. There is the Olympics coming up in a couple of years' time too, and they're hoping that maybe this is one of the breaking arm ventures that could get the guys there to compete for South Africa. Let's find out more from Andrew Bond.
This program is proudly brought to you by Hyperpaint, caring for people, caring for horses, and making a brighter world for you. The opportunity to travel by road across the length and breadth of our beautiful country is often relished both with or without horse box in tow. And on this occasion, crossing the Vaal River on an adventure to cover an event we had never even heard of until recently. The bottom line is that it was thoroughly enthralling. Having recently crossed the border from Gauteng into the Orange Free State, we are now in a quaint little village called Parys. And upon arrival at the Afridome, I'm absolutely overcome by the quaintness of the place, and not least of all this antiquated ox wagon in a dilapidated state of whatever historical significance. But the point is, we've come to cover the Western Games National Championships, and it really is a very intriguing sport. 12 disciplines, basically 13, but only 12 of them will be participated for today. And we're going to catch up with some of the official folk and some of the competitors, and 405 entrants are going to enter this dome behind me very shortly for the commencement of the 2018 National Western Games Championships.
Anything we can do that's a win-win for people and horses, which we love, we'll do it.
These are kids where there's not a lot of money around, and sometimes they get given a horse, but it keeps them out of the malls. It keeps them doing something good and wholesome and old-fashioned.
We believe in the more you give, the more you receive. We love horses and we love children, so Western Games, we want to help them, to help these children keep off the streets, keep them on the straight and narrow, enjoy horses, enjoy life. You never know, it may be a springboard to something great. We want to do our part.
Horses, when they're finished racing, it's not the easiest thing because they've all been mollycoddled and nurtured, and you put them out in the veld, they don't do so good. So this once again is a win-win situation where some thoroughbreds are getting used in Western Games.
Well, we have a lady that works for us. She had a horse that was a racehorse, and then it fell and it couldn't run anymore. And she took it to an equestrian place and she rode it all the time. And it can't run anymore. I think it's 18 years old now. She still goes and visits it and gives it carrots and looks after it. She always told us how the horse was a part of her family. and she looks after all the time. So we've always thought that to give these horses an extra lease in life and something more to give and do and to be with people would be a great thing.
Very bright and early Saturday morning that we rocked up at this venue that we'd never been to, and we were thinking to ourselves as horse people, how are you going to get 400 horses into one arena and have no pandemonium? It was a very moving ceremony, a lot of team spirit, and it was your first chance to address this particular audience as the president.
Yes, I was quite nervous, I wouldn't lie, but I think it all worked out perfectly. I had a lot of support with organizing this and a lot of help doing this, and we had to measure to make sure that all the horses going to fit into the dome, but it was quite a scene from up there, seeing 400 horses and knowing that these are all riders that share the same passion for horses and the same love for the sport that we do.
Gee jou alles, elke keer, elke rang. Kompeteer regverdig, respekteer die beamptes en jou opponent. Dra die prestasie met trots en die verantwoordelikheid wat daarmee saamgaan. Respekteer die reëls en die gees van die sport. Help mekaar. Pas julle perde op, want hy is jou spanmaat. Sit jou perd eerste, altyd. Hierdie fantastiese dier is juist die rede waarom ons hier vandag is en kan doen wat ons doen. Laastens, geniet dit, sterkte en wees veilig.
You lift my heart up when the rest of me is down. You enchant me even when you're not around.
Geldenhuys. I've started Western Mounted Games 7 years ago, so it was about 2012. There was this charity event at Maple Ridge, so then we started like competing at the national level, and yeah, it was really just a lot of fun, so that's why we continued.
Your hometown is the first place that Western Mounted Games was launched in South Africa.
Yes, that's true. A guy from our town, Chris Koch, he went to America and I think he did farming there. And then he saw barrel racing and American Gymkhana there. And he said, well, he likes this event, but it's all separate. So he said, why not combine all that barrel racing and pole bending and keyhole? And he came back to South Africa and he started South African Western Mounted Games there in Memel on the little Boerevereniging Farms arena. And then he put all 13 events together and then we had our games from there on.
I'm Janelle Geldenhuys from Memel. I started riding 7 years ago as well when the sport was born. I had my little pony for 11 years now and I've been granted with 5 national champion overall. So I'm very proud of him and his name is Puan. Puan came to us, I was 6 years old. My sister wanted a horse, so my dad, a guy brought Puan to the farm. And he was actually purposed for slaughter. He was very not looking good. So then I was a 6-year-old girl and wanting this horse. So together I think we grew and became who we are today.
Did you name him?
Yeah, unfortunately I was very young, but I named him, yeah.
But he's very, very popular. Everybody knows Puan. He's a bit of a legend in his own lifetime.
I think being him, he's 14 hands, so for a horse that's very small, and we do this competition against race horses. He absolutely has no pedigree, so I think him beating them on this high level, it makes him something special.
And to be able to go and compete with the family, I mean, it's really very wholesome and very old-fashioned.
Yeah, I think it's amazing still to be a full family and them supporting us all the way. If we have an off event, they're still there believing in us for the next one. So yeah.
How much competition is there between you and your sister?
I love riding with my sister. She's the motivator. She keeps me focused when I'm off my game, and yeah, I think it's fun. We chase each other.
Do you have any aspirations of competing overseas?
Yeah, I think that will be lovely, promoting the sport. I think we all live with a dream to one day be known by more people, and especially doing what we love.
You build a special bond with your horse. It's not just an animal anymore, it's a team member. You and your horse is partners. It's not like an event where you just climb on your horse and hit it to run and stuff. You get really attached to your horse, and yeah, it's your partner, so it was hard, yeah.
When you drive through a poor suburb, you say, gee, that could do with a coat of paint. Isn't it one of the most basic things in life?
It is, and the funny thing is none of our houses are painted. They're all face brick.
When something is well organized, they say that it's like a military operation. Who better to organize this whole entrance than Oom Obos?
I don't think there's anyone better than Obos. He's been doing it since I started, and he just has a way with riders, making them understand what he wants and how to get everyone in order. Because getting 400 horses into an arena like this, I thought wasn't possible, but there were even space for some more. So yeah, definitely no one better to do it than him.
I was doing the opening of Parliament when I was in the police, you know, and I was there at the mounted section for 5 years, and that's where I got it from. 12
events, tough for the horse, tough for the rider, very big family sport. Thoroughly enjoyed being here. How have you enjoyed this weekend in Paris?
No, I've enjoyed it a lot. It was fantastic. Everything was well organized. You can look at all the officials, you know, they got radios, they got all the timekeepers here.
We've seen a few records broken. We've seen, I think, 3 records that I'm aware of. Is it to do with the track conditions, or is it just that the sport is getting stronger?
Well, the sport is getting stronger, yes, but the track conditions are also getting better. Everything, I would say.
This event is one of those things that takes your mind off the pain of daily living, and it gives you that warm feeling of camaraderie and friendship. It almost takes you back in age. What does it mean to Oom Obos to participate in Western Games?
Dit beteken baie vir my. Ek het 'n wille werk by die huis, en om hier na toe te kom, vergeet ek van alles. En dit is lekker om met mense te werk, en waar geen politiek is nie, en almal is soos 'n groot familie, almal kyk na mekaar, en elke mens try sy bes, jy weet. En daar's nie 'n ou wat huil of skree of wat ook al nie. Dit is net wonderlik, en jy sien net uit aan die volgende jaar.
Tell us exactly what your function as a master judge in this organization is.
Well, Andrew, firstly, somebody needs to have some rules sorted out and in place. We are still a young organization, so the rules are still being formed. That's basically the main function of the master judges, to ensure that the rules are fair and that the rules are adequate that we need for the port. And basically that's what our main function is to see to that and oversee the judges, that everything is kept to the same standard as far as possible. We like to see consistency, that all the judges judge on the same basis, that it's fair against everybody, so that you don't end up in a situation where one judged the one way and another one has got another opinion. Since we're riding against time, and we're trying to take out any discrepancies or different decisions being made, that's where we come in to oversee those rules being formed and being maintained. Having 404 riders taking part in 12 events over the 3 days, each running two runs per event, and having those scores calculated, recorded, calculated, arranging all the officials that's required in the arenas, gate marshals, timekeepers, arena crew that can set the standard in the arena, resetting the courses, things like that. I think we've run at about 60 officials for this event this year. It is a huge organization in the background that a lot of people are not aware of, yes.
I think one of the big things is that there's no politics amongst the riders. There might be at administration level, but amongst the riders, you ride on your time and everybody's just backing everybody all the time. It's amazing.
So when you get a round of applause, it's a hearty, well-meant, warm kind of round of applause, really wanting you to do well.
Very much so, except if Obas beats me, then I get a bit irritated, you know. But it happens often, so yeah, no, it's just amazing. It really is. And you know, people come from the farms, they come from the city, and everybody who loves horses, and there's something for everybody here. And you can ride your horse at the speed you want to. Nobody's going to pick you out on what you dressed, how you dressed. Nobody's going to pick you out on what saddle you're in. It's amazing.
The level of sensitivity is immense. I mean, the level of understanding and the voice commands obviously come into play here.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's all about talking to the horse and the horse understanding you and whistling and all those things. And you can't break that routine at all, otherwise you mess up.
I'm Janita Dooyer from the Arkapstaden Riding Centre. And we first started with Boeresport. That was a thing that we did all over. And then I wrote a whole paper on the Boeresport, wanting to introduce it, getting it both from the English side and the American side. And then it sort of didn't really take root. And then suddenly it took root as the Western Games.
The horse that took you to the national championship, tell us a little bit about him.
He's called Smokem. He's a 50-50 thoroughbred quarter horse gelding, 10-year-old, and he's a horse with a lot of heart. He tries his best. He never fails. He's just one in a million.
Obviously, it's very important for us on Teletrack to have some concern for the afterlife of the thoroughbred, because obviously a lot of the mares go and play polo or polo cross, or they go to stud. How did that mating happen, or did you find the horse ready-made?
It was a polo cross horse. I saw the potential in him. I bought him and I made him from scratch. I was the first one to do games on him. I taught him what he needed to know, and the two of us get along like a house on fire.
And how much of it is communicated by voice and how much of it is communicated by feel?
I do a lot of voice, its body, its legs, as little as possible hands. People don't realize that the more you move your hands, the more time you will waste. So I don't touch the reins. I use my voice instead, my seat and my legs.
Oh, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is a machine. This is a machine. And Jade, what about nepotism in Hyperpaint?
It's so much nepotism that we broke it. But it's the best for everybody. You know, we've been here since 1981. And the motto was from my dad and his brothers Dominic, Paul and Jared. The more you give, the more you receive. And if you offer the customer value, they'll always come back. And our family give value to everybody we interact with. You know, we're Catholics, we're staunch Catholics, so we feel that you treat everybody as you'd want them to treat you.
Well, that's a wrap from us here at the Dumhace Restaurant out in Melkbos, a fantastic venue as well. Thanks to them for letting us utilise their facility for tonight's show. And we'll be back with you with more Breeding to Win next week on Sunday.